Okay, Dad? All right. I've got another one of Grandpa's pitchforks. And I'm pretty sure I've seen him, and I think I've used it to move hay or straw in the barn.
Okay.
But this one has only got 3 prongs and it's overall a lot smaller. And so why isn't it
Like the other one.
like the other one?
The other one had 5 prongs, maybe.
I think it has 4.
4, and they're wider.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, that's a manure fork. At least in my experience at that time.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a manure fork. If you were cleaning out the barn, pitching it out into a lot or into a wagon, into a manure spreader. Grandpa Planksdale had a horse-drawn manure spreader. It had later been changed with a shorter tongue to pull it on by a tractor. But it was his pride and joy, in a way.
So that you, instead of fertilizer, you would use a manure spreader.
When you had manure to fertilize with, you would use a manure spreader. So when you cleaned out the barn, or a shed, or wherever, and you put this pile of manure, dry straw, manure, some dirt maybe even, in it, and then you carry it out, pull it out to the field, and you put it in gear, and you go across the field. A chain conveyor in this chain gradually moved back to bring the load of manure back toward the back of the spreader. It was like a wagon with sides. And behind that was a auger laying on its sides, going spinning. So as you move the manure back, this auger would pick it up and it would throw it out, spread it. Well, not really shred things, but break everything up and throw it out in chunks, and rather than just piles. And you went across with it thrown out that way. It's one of the pieces of machinery that the machinery dealer said, "I will not stand behind this." That was a common joke. And so Grandpa was very proud of having that manure spreader, and he kept it under roof all the time. It was made out of wood, so he didn't leave it sitting out. He put his wagons away in a shed or someplace, and he put that under the big, what do they call it? The big basement, well, 2-story garage, a 2-story barn, basically. It was, and down on the bottom, on the lower level, there was a overhang and place that he could park it underneath. And he always kept it parked there, so that it didn't get wet, rained on. It rusted because the moist air with bare metal caused it to rust. And when Grandpa had the sale, the last farm sale, that was setting out in a row of old junk machinery that we were selling. And as we moved along and the auctioneer was auctioning, we got to this and I gave a little history of the manure spreader. And I said it had never set out overnight. And some smart ass back there said, "How about last night?"
Okay.
Because it had sat there overnight. But in the rain, by the way, it rained all night. So what you're talking about is a fork that you would use more like a scoop to shovel.
Yeah, that's what I used it for,
That's good.
cleaning out straw out of that second story of that barn.
Okay, well, but while if it's just straw, this would probably work better. Because it's lighter and it's longer and it's sharper end would just go right into straw or hay or something like that. So anyway, I don't know where this came from. It was Grandpa's, certainly.
Grandpa
I think
clean
very
scale.
likely it was Grandpa's link scales. And then my dad used it, Grandpa used it, and I used it when I was helping him. And he used it on the wagon to stack when we picked up hay from the windrow and the hayfield. And
Wick row,
a windrow,
windrow.
W-I-N-D, row. Had a side delivery rake after you mowed the alfalfa hay, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and it dried and ready to be put into either into a stack or into the haymow. Then you would go across the field with a side delivery rake, and it had a cylinder of teeth that were turning and brushing it ahead all the time, and it would come out the end of the rake in a row, and just a continuous row of hay. And then you go along with a hay loader, which picked it up, carried it up, and dumped it in the continuous chain going up, and dumped it into the wagon. Somebody on the wagon would use a fork like this to take it from that pile and put it at the front of the wagon or place it so that they could stack up a solid, more or less rectangular stack of hay.
Okay.
Take it to the barn or take it wherever they wanted to take it.
Well, this would just be loose.
It was
Hay.
just loose. That had been raked from the mowing machine raked it, or mowed it. It was all laying,
So you took it into the barn, it was just loose hay that,
Right.
okay, there wasn't in bales.
No. You would make it into windrows first if you were going to bale it. Then you'd come along with a baler, and they would pick that up and bale it and drop the bales off behind.
But before you had baler, you would just have loose piles of.
Yeah. We either two things we had. This loose windrow of hay that they would put on a wagon, on kind of a stack on a wagon, take it and put it into the haymow, or build another stack in the feedlot someplace with a fence around it, and then feed it out to cattle and horses. But going back, bundles, straw, wheat, and oats.
Mm-hmm.
They first used a binder with the binder twine like the ball that you
You like
have.
that ball.
Yeah. Am I still on?
Yeah.
Anyway, they'd use this for handling those bundles. They'd either be in piles in the field, or they would be in stacks where they would take and stand the bundles up.
Well, how did they make the bundles?
The binder that used that twine had a sickle and a conveyor, and you go through the wheat field.
Mm-hmm.
It would lay all of cut the wheat or the oat stems off. You lay it all down flat on this canvas conveyor, which would take it into the grinding mechanism, which would roll up a certain amount of it, wrap the twine around it, and then kick it out. And then somebody would come along with a wagon, a pitchfork like this, and pick up a bundle at a time, toss it up on the wagon. somebody on the wagon again would place it so that they could stack it on the wagon. Then they would take that into the threshing machine that was located someplace near the farmstead, where they again used the pitchfork, pitch it into a conveyor that carried it bundle by bundle into the thresher, which would chop it up and shake all of the wheat or oats out of the stems,
Mm-hmm.
and the straw, which would be kind of chopped up, would go out through a big blower.
Don't impale yourself there.
Out through a big blower and form a hay or a straw stack as high as the house.
Oh, okay.
And the grain would come out of auger into a wagon. Then you take the wagon and go into the barn or the grain bin and shovel the grain into the bin.
Okay.
A lot of labor going there.
So now with the modern combine, it cuts it and does the threshing already, so it's all in one.
And then just throws the straw back out onto the field, which is good because then you plow it under, work it into the ground
Mm-hmm.
for organic matter. And so you needed something that was sharp, but not real heavy like the other one that you were talking about.
Trying to see if it has a maker's
I was wondering.
manufacturer. It just says made in USA.
Oh.
Well,
You would buy those at a hardware store or Montgomery Ward or Sears Roebuck or places like that.
well, while we've got this stuff all laid out, why don't you tell me, okay, I can know what, well, what is this thing?
That's a knife sharpener.
Oh, well,
Yeah, it doesn't work very well, but it works.
so the
You
knife goes in through here?
You know, you put the knife there and you press down and you pull it through there. And these are sharp, are harder than the knife. And they will scrape off some of the knife blade.
Oh,
And it works. It's not, you can use a stone to finish it up.
yeah, and you brush your hair with this, right?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Curry comb, but I don't know what this thing is.
Okay, this is a riveter.
Oh, okay,
Someplace there are or were rivets. Mike probably has those. I could ask him about those. You,
Wait, show the camera there.
anyway, if you,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Okay. To the camera. If you take this rubber band off and you pull the handle up, this will come up.
Mm-hmm.
And you put a rivet in here. Two different types of rivets. One anyway, it's a hollow core, little tube. You put it in there. You put the piece of leather, usually it's for leather, maybe canvas will work too. Like on the binder, that kind of canvas, if you needed to patch it or splice it.
Okay,
And
for the conveyors on the,
yeah, and you put the material in here. Wrong belt. I've got one of Dad's belts that has these rivets in it. You put the leather in here and you press down on this, and there's a curved point inside here. It spreads that rivet, it's copper, brass, something. Spreads this little tube,
mm-hmm.
and then all the way down, it mashes it down, flat. So you have a riveted piece of belt or whatever leather. It really works, and it's not hard to do, but I don't know where the rivets are. And I would get, you've got this, so remind me, and I'll ask Mike about job.
When was the last time you had to rivet something?
Probably after Grandpa died, and I took his belt.
Uh-huh,
I think at that time I needed it shorter. And so I cut it off, and I folded the leather over. Oh, it cuts a hole too. And put a rivet in there, and then just put it in there and put down on it. Probably do 2 of them. And that would finish it. It looks good. It looks all right. It's brass, they're brass. And so, yeah. This is a marker. That's a marker. There are these that have a pencil, you can put a pencil in them. But this one is a blade. So if you want to make a mark 2.5 inches from the edge of a board,
mm-hmm,
you just put it like this, and you go press, and you make a gouge into the wood with a sharp blade there.
hmm,
It's adjustable. A carpenter would use this.
I think that's just a little
Just
tool
a set
set.
of little wrenches. Yeah, they're, I would say they're cheap wrenches because they're thin. But compact.
Yeah, so these are just wood chisels.
Those are wood chisels.
And this, well,
This
this
is-
isn't exactly it, this is,
This
that's
is
for
a
woodwork.
draw knife.
Draw knife, okay.
Yeah, if you've got a piece of wood and you want to shape it or take off a little bit of it, you put it here and you draw it out, and it's sharp. And you can just, you draw with the grain. If you draw against the grain, it would splinter it,
Mm-hmm,
so you draw with the grain. And
yeah,
yeah, it's a draw knife. When it gets dull, you can sharpen it.
we could
And
use
these
it.
are just wood chisels. These are not iron chisels, steel cold chisels, as they call it, which you would use to chisel a piece of iron somewhere. It's hard, but it's harder than the iron, and it's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
sharp.
But those are not,
These are wood chisels. Yeah, these are for wood. I used to, in high school, that was part of the exercises of the farm shop, was to sharpen chisels. You have just a regular grinder, but you had to get it at just the right angle, and
did you wear safety glasses back then in shop class?
we might have for something like that, yeah. Okay.
Well,
That's about all I know about it. I might have a picture somewhere, I can kind of remember a Grandpa clink scale up on a wagon. And he might have had this in his, he probably would have had one of these in his hand. If I can find it, I'll give it to you, but
okay,
I don't know where it is, so. That's
all right, well, thank you.